What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. Yeah, and this, sir, and man, this is the AEW Revolution pay-per-view review video on March 3rd, 2024. I'll say it was a very fantastic pay-per-view, even though some of the matches were the complete opposite of what we predicted in the IWC, but besides that, it was a very great pay-per-view. And we're gonna start off with the Acclaim. The Acclaim and Club Gold, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, taking on Willie Mack and Private Party and what's that? And Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Sam Singh. And I'll say I'm not going to get into too much into details, but still I'm going to talk about some of the stuff what happened. Well, I'll say not really much. Just I'll say the only spot that was memorable was excuse me, with what's his name? It was with Jay White, Switchboy Jay White taking on going head to head with Satnam Singh. When what's his name? Billy Gunn was hilariously pushes Jay White out of the way. He's like, son, like I got this right here. Like I want you to get in all this trouble. With the big with the OG over here to take down this 7 foot I would say a cell phone tower here, and this is where they gone at with fighting it, going at it, and this is where I believe it was but somehow they got Satnam Singh out of the ring. This is where I believe they hit their finishing maneuvers on who was it that took the pinfall? I believe was not Jeff Jarrett or Jay Lethal. I think it was either the Private Party guys, like either Mark Quinn or Isaiah Cassidy, that took the pin 1, 2, 3. And your winners of the first match, and still the AEW and the Ring of Honor World Trios Tag Team Champions, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. That's where we got. And this is where we move on to the next match, which was between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander against Sky Blue and what's his name? What's her name? Julia Hart, which she's the reigning defending TBS champion. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on this match. I'll say it was not that too exciting, but it still was a good match. We were very lucky that they added onto the card, but this onto the card and right onto the card, like just something just to add on before the main show came on. But yeah, this was a pretty good match too. Like with basically the whole story was about that Chris Statlander and Will Nightingale they were trying to look for some revenge on both the heel duos, and they finally got the retribution onto them. This is where we got. But when Will Nightingale got the comeback, she started hitting clotheslines and strikes right on both Sky and what's her name and Julia Hart, and this is where Will tried to go for the gut wrench powerbomb onto Julia Hart, but she countered out of it. This is where she got number disadvantage by the heel duo. Chris Statlander came for the aid. This is where we got and this is where Chris Statlander sends Julia Hart on the outside. This is where I believe Sky Blue didn't try to go for the code blue on her. But this is where Will Nightingale counters out of it. This is where I believe she finally got the guaranteed, because you know the rules. Like if it doesn't work the first attempt, the second attempt is definitely going to be a guaranteed. But you know 1, 2, 3, and you're a winner. And you're a winner. What's her name? What's it? Will Nightingale and Chris Statlander. And then this is where we got this is where we got the real show, which we had start off. This is where we got the main show, the real main show of AEW Revolution, with Daniel Garcia going at it with the patriarch Christian Cage. Like, with Daniel Garcia was like over like 100 times of being this close of beating Christian Cage. And it seems like this is one of the matches that was the opposite of our prediction. But other than that, it still was a pretty good match. Like, even though like it was something that we didn't really predicted that would have happened. Like, with Daniel Garcia was continuing to hit his move, like even even the the Dragon Tamer, but Christian Cage somehow got out of it. This is where we had this is where then he hits him with. That's where what other move he hit him with? He started hitting plenty of his signatures and finishers, but Christian Cage was kicked out when the referee hits to try to go for one and try to go for two, but he gets the shoulder up before the referee can even attempt the 3 count. This is where but this is where we got some outside shenanigans. This is where we got excuse me. This is where we got Nick Wayne's mother, Shayna Wayne, try to go for a what's that move? Like, try to distract Daniel Garcia, but this is where Matt Menard saw this, and he saw this, and this is where he was like, oh no, you don't. You're not gonna yeah. Okay, I'll do it. Okay. But yeah, this is where Matt Menard was like, okay, I'm going. But anyways, this is where Matt Menard was like, oh no, you don't. You're not gonna do that with my son. And this is where Shayna Wayne was like, you dastardly short SOB. Like, you just cannot mind your business. And this is where she tried to go for a slap right onto to Matt. But luckily he grabbed onto her and threw it right off. This is where Kill Switch came in. Samson, calm down. But anyways, this is where he fought him off going fisting right onto each other. Right? Okay, I'll take it off. But this is where Daniel Garcia continuing to do his fight on the Christian Cage. This is where Christian Cage tried to go for, I believe, a kill switch like the first time, but it's still, but he kicked out at 2.999999, double 0.1 away from the 3. But this is where we got him in the corner with Daniel Garcia nearly having him right where he wanted him by grabbing onto him, but he gets hot shotted by a hot shot cutter by Nick Wayne. This is where Christian Cage took advantage, kill switch him again. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still the AEW TNT champion, Christian Cage. But excuse me for a second. I need to help my nephew out for a minute. I see. Okay. You're like, oh yeah, like Uncle Siblings are awesome. You did? Yeah, you did. Yeah, like Uncle SNA. Come on, TV. Good question. I heard he took it like in the bedroom somewhere. I don't know. He found a good place to hide for some reason. I don't see why. That point. Yep, sure did. And he ran outside. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. We did kick this. All right, SNA back here. But anyway, this is where we move on to versus Eddie Kingston match with and Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston was continuing to kill each other with the chops, trying to get the number one spot of being in Gunther's envy list. Like where they were going chops back and forth on each other, like trying to get that number one spot for some reason. And then and this is where Bryan Danielson got an upper hand over Eddie Kingston by doing a wrist lock right onto excruciating pain on to Eddie Kingston. But this is where Danielson went for, I believe, for a running knee, but Eddie Kingston kicks out 2.99999999999 double 9 minus 0 point away from being 3. And then this is where we got he tried to hit another move, another finisher, which I'm not sure what it was. But this is where Eddie Kingston intercepts, hits the back fist right onto Bryan Danielson, and then he captured the victory 1, 2, 3, and still your AEW Continental Crown and Ring of Honor World Champion and New Japan Strong Openweight Champion Eddie Kingston. And then this is where we got Eddie offer his hand with Bryan Danielson didn't have not much of a choice, just to shake it. This is where he did so. This is where we move on to the next match, which was Wardlow taking. It was not Wardlow. But anyways, yeah. But yeah, we got now Eddie Kingston remains not only is still your champion, but also is still number one in Gunther's envy list in the current status of Gunther's envy list. He was like, I'm not gonna I'm sorry about that, my bad. I gave him a free pass of killing each other with them chops. I'm gonna get the remaining scraps, like I said I'm gonna do, and be a man of my word. Because when I make a decision, it's final, and I try to be a man. What I said I'm gonna do. And then now Eddie is going to be remains number one. And then if he stays number one, I'm going to go over to AEW or wait for him to go to WWE, which I'm not sure that will ever happen. And I'm going to give him a congratulating present of a stinging knife-edge chop. Has his name written all over it on the side of my arm and the side of my hand of my chopping hand and arm. Or whatever he would say. And I am going to gonna slice their chests off like in the next time I see those losers. And I am going to, especially Eddie, that was provoking Mike. But yeah, I'm not gonna add him in the list 1,000 more times because you see who's gonna be determined for to be continuing to be number one on my list. Or whatever he would say. And I'm going to give him a power bomb, and I'm going to take that Continental title from him and retire it before it even has the full potential of it, because I just don't like anything from AEW, especially the wrestlers that love mocking me. But anyway, this is where we got the – what's that? This is where we got what's this the next up we got the what's that match? It was the AEW and this was the AEW what's that 8-man scramble match, I believe. The All-Star. No, it was the AEW All-Star 8-man scramble match, which it had Powerhouse Hobbs, Murder Hawk Monster, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Wardlow, Chris Jericho, Magnus, Dante Martin, and Hook. And then this is where we got the big men, like like we're in the ring after they got rid of the small guys. This is where they start trying to go close onto each other, like with Wardlow going at it with Wardlow, and then Brian Cage with what's his name, Lance Archer. This is where this is where Lance Archer hit a big boot right on to Brian Cage once they were brawling. This is where we got Wardlow. Then this is where Wardlow then clotheslines Powerhouse Hobbs when he tried to charge at him in the upper corner. This is where he clotheslined him out of the ring. This is where we got Wardlow and Lance Archer next. This is where Booker T and the Homeless Man and the Hurricane must have been very excited again to see this, even though this is a match, like, and it's not just any brawl that you would expect from any wrestling show. But this is where they start throwing fists on each other. This was like, oh yes, this is what we've been waiting for, even though they didn't build any big brawl, because it's only to see who's going to be determined to be the next one contender for the AEW World Championship. But this is where we got Murder Hawk Monster Lance Archer Irish whip in the upper right corner. This is where he hits an elbow right onto Wardlow. This is where he grabs onto his hand. This is where he goes right on the top rope, like if he's the Undertaker, like if he's going old school in All Elite Wrestling. The only wrestler that does do that move in AEW was Ricky Starks, or he was absent after losing the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This is where he does the old school. This is where Powerhouse Hobbs tried to charge at Lance Archer, but this is where Lance Archer hit a big boot right into the Powerhouse's face. This is where he started doing a wrist lock onto him, and this is where he went right back on the exact same top rope in the top corner, started going for the old school. Like, and then this is where he tried to go for it, but this is where Powerhouse Hobbs hit a double A spine buster once he got right off the top ropes, and he gets a double A spine buster. This is where Brian Cage saw Powerhouse Hobbs. He did a it wasn't an F10. It was like he hit his former Team Taz brother in, which